Hey guys, it's Brant from In My Head channel, and I'm making my first video today. And I'm going to be doing, in my first video, I'm going to be doing my first album review. And in my first album review, I'm going to be reviewing the first KISS album, released back in February 1974. And I've always been a big fan of KISS. I've been a big fan of KISS since I was about 7 years old, so over 40 years. So I'm really excited to do this. I'm really excited to get my channel started doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to go through all the albums, all the KISS albums. And I'm going to throw some other stuff in here and there. I'm going to be doing video game reviews. I'm going to be doing some paranormal stuff. I'm going to be doing other types of music reviews, like another one of my favorite bands, Typo Negative. I'll be doing some reviews by them, some classic music reviews. Not classical, but classic. So we're going to have a good time, and so just let's get started with it. Way back in 1974, a band known around New York, but unknown to the rest of the world, released an album that was also unknown to the rest of the world, but later would go on to become a classic. That band is KISS, and their album is their self-titled debut album. Today I'm going to review that album and give you my thoughts on it. KISS was formed officially in January 1973 with members Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Peter Criss, and Ace Frehley. The origins of the band trace back to 1971 when Paul and Gene were members of the band Wicked Lester. Paul and Gene eventually left Wicked Lester in 1972 because they were not happy with the musical direction of Wicked Lester. The two admired each other because of their songwriting ability, even though they sometimes wrote songs with different styles. They found Peter Criss, who at age 27 was older than Paul, who was 21, and Gene, who was 23, through an ad in the Rolling Stone. The trio set out to form a band focused on a much harder style than Wicked Lester, but at this time retained the name. They also began experimenting with their image, borrowing heavily on the New York Dolls. Ace Frehley, then age 21, joined the lineup. A few weeks later, after he joined, the band changed their name to KISS during a cab ride, after Peter mentioned his band's name was Lips. Paul suggested the name KISS. The now famous logo of the band was created by Ace when he drew the name KISS over the name Wicked Lester on a poster outside the club they were going to play. Paul later redrew the logo using a Sharpie and a ruler. The band's first show was on January 30th, 1973 for an audience of 3 at the Popcorn Club, which was later renamed Coventry. For their first few shows, KISS wore little to no makeup. In March of 1973, KISS played shows at the Daisy on March 9th and 10th. It was during these shows that the band's iconic makeup designs emerged. That same month, the band recorded a 5-song demo with producer Eddie Kramer. In October, KISS agreed to let Bill Aucoin manage them, but only if he agreed to secure a record label within 2 weeks. On November 1st, 1973, KISS became the first act to sign with Neil Bogart's label, Casablanca. The band entered Bell Sound on October 10th, with Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise. Sources say it took 13 days. Some sources say 3 weeks. The self-titled album KISS was released in the U.S. in February 1974. The exact day is a day of debate. Some sources say February the 8th, while others say February 18th. Despite all the publicity and the touring that KISS did in support of the album, it only initially sold just 75,000 copies. It made it to 87 on the Billboard Pop Chart and spent 22 weeks on the charts. It was eventually certified gold at 500,000 copies sold on June 8, 1977. This was largely due to the success of the albums that followed that caused fans to buy the band's earlier albums. But the poor sales at the time of the release prompted Neil Bogart to get the band back into the studio, even though they were still on tour, to record Hotter Than Hell. But that's all for another review. Let's talk about the album itself, namely the artwork and the packaging. There are actually 2 track listings of KISS. Early pressings didn't include Kissin' Time. This was a cover song that Neil Bogart convinced him to record to support a publicity kissing contest to promote the band and the album. The band didn't really care for the song and they didn't want to record it, but they did, and unknowingly to them, it appeared on the next pressings of the album. As far as the look of the album goes, I'm not the biggest fan. I like it okay. It's a great debut album with all the classic songs on it, but I wouldn't even say it's in my top 5. As a matter of fact, some of you are going to get upset at some of the albums I review that I will say I like more than this album. Also, to me, it's not one of their most iconic covers. Gene is a huge Beatles fan, and he modeled Kiss after the Fab Four in many ways, such as all members writing, singing, and with their own images and personalities. The album cover appears to me to be modeled after Meet the Beatles. I like the big Kiss logo on the back, but the writing of the credits and the track listing is too small and hard to read sometimes. I've seen other photos from the photo shoot for the album cover, and I don't understand why they didn't use one of the other ones. Putting the still developing makeup aside, some of the band members just don't look right. Paul's doing his usual pouting. Peter's just there with his weird looking makeup he had one of the makeup artists they hired to do. And Ace is looking up, maybe towards Jindal. I don't know. The personas in the background stories were not even established at this point. And lastly, where's Gene's famous iconic tongue? I heard this album for the first time in 1977 when I was 8. The album had been out for about 3 years, and it wasn't even the first Kiss album that I'd heard. But anyway, let's get to the songs. Track number 1, Strutter. This song's written by Paul and Gene before Ace joined the band. Based on a song Stanley the Parrot that Gene had written, Paul wrote the lyrics. This is to me an okay song. Even though I know it's a classic and some of you people love it, I'm not the biggest fan of this song. And on this recording, like others on this album, it's just too slow. But even speed doesn't improve it for me. I would have not have started the album with this song. Which one would I have started? I'll let you know when we get to it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this one a 5. And my rating scale works this way. 1 to 10. 5 is middle of the road, I like it. The more I like it, it works towards a 10. The least I like it, it works towards a 1. Track 2, Nothing to Lose. Written by Gene and sang by Gene and Peter. This song's about anal sex. And I didn't realize that when I was 8 years old. It's amazing I never picked this up when I was 8 and singing along. But I like this song. I like the riff. I like the structure of the song. Again, like most songs, it's a little slow, but the performance is great. Peter's vocals are great. I've always liked Peter's vocals. And Ace's solo is really good. And the breakdown is what makes it for me. It's not my favorite song on the album, though. On my scale, I give this one a 6. Next track. Track 3, Firehouse. Written by Paul after he was influenced by a song by The Move called Fire Brigade before he was in Kiss. It's one of the first Kiss songs and was played back during the Wicked Lester days. This is one of my favorite songs on the album, and maybe in my top 10 or top 20 of favorite Kiss songs. I guess we'll find out as I go along. I love the riff in this song and the structure. The lyric, "Get the firehouse, 'cause she sets my soul afire," is just an awesome lyric to me. And to me, this is one of the early songs where Paul starts to show his songwriting talent, his ability to structure, and his ability to write catchy hooks and lyrics. I give Firehouse a 7 on my scale. Track 4, Cold Gin. Written by Ace and sang by Gene. Ace didn't want to sing because of his lack of confidence in his voice, even though the band wanted him to. Ace said he wrote the song while in the subway about how cold gin affects the male sex drive. Ace says the riff of the song was inspired by the band Free, their song Fire and Water. He also admits that Gene wrote the bridge but turned down being credited for it. As I got older, I always thought it was weird that Gene sings this song, even though he claims he's never been drunk and does not drink. Ace definitely should have sang it, and he eventually did record it with him singing on his Origins Volume 1 album. Cold Gin is one of my favorite Kiss songs, and it is my favorite song on this album. I give it an 8 on my scale. Track number 5, Let Me Know. Written by Paul, originally called Sunday Driver. Sang by Paul and Gene. What can I say? It's an okay song. It feels kind of popish to me. I like it okay. It's got good structure. I always like it when Paul and Gene trade vocals and sing together on a song. My favorite part of this song, and this isn't a pun or a joke, my favorite part of this song is the outro, the way it goes off. I really do genuinely like it. I give this song a 5 on my scale. Track 6, Kissing Time. This is the song that Kiss recorded under pressure from Neil Bogart to try to make a catchy single, and subsequently used to promote a kissing contest that Bill Aucoin organized in effect to boost sagging album sales. Originally recorded by Bobby Rydell in 1959, the lyrics had to be reworked heavily by the band to attempt to remove some of the bubble gum. Kenny Kerner stated that the band sat in the studio with pencils and pads in hand and just went from person to person shouting out lines and wrote down what they liked. He claims they rewrote the lyrics in about 20 minutes. Paul, Gene, and Peter all sing on the song. It was released as a single 3 months after the initial release of the album and was included in the first pressings in the album starting in July of 1974. I'm not a big fan of the song. I don't think it fits the band or this album. It's just a little too punny for my tastes. I mean, a band called Kiss with a song called Kissin' Time? Come on. But I always did like the fact that the song opens with the lyric, Come On Charlotte, because that's the large city near my hometown. I give it a 4 on my scale. Track number 7, Deuce. Written by Gene, using the Rolling Stones' Bitch as an inspiration. Gene says it was written on bass, linearly, with the riff written first, then the bridge, then the chorus. Paul wrote the intro riff, although he's uncredited for it. Gene says he has no idea what the song is about lyrically. And Ace says it's the song he auditioned to, and is his favorite Kiss song. I really like Deuce. This is the song that should have started the album. To me, it would have started the album off with a more kick-ass feel than Strutter. This is the song that they opened their early shows with, so I don't understand why they didn't open their album with it. There are other changes I would have made to the lineup and the track listing, but I'll get to those at the end of my review. I give Deuce a 6 on my scale. Track 8, Love Theme from Kiss. Written by all 4 members of the band, one of the only few Kiss songs that this happens on. What can I say about this song? For starters, I hate the name. The song is basically a shortened version of their song Acrobat, except they left off the best part of Acrobat and changed the name of the song to a sucky name. This song in this version is one of my lesser liked songs. I won't say I hate it, and I don't skip it, but it doesn't do anything for me in this form. Now give me the full version of Acrobat, and then we're talking. That's what they should have put on this album. I give it a 4 on my scale in this form. Track 9, 100,000 Years. Written by Paul and Gene and sung by Paul. Gene wrote the famous bass riff for the song that the song is built on, and this is a great song. Great lyrics, great performance. Ace does an awesome solo, and there is a small drum solo for Peter that he wanted to be longer, but it was cut down. The lyrics for his songs are trippy. I read that Gene and Paul wrote it with the idea of an astronaut that had been gone for what seemed like 100,000 years to return home to an estranged relationship. Who knows? It's a great song though. I give this song a 7 on my scale.
Out on the street for a living, pictures don't let me go.
The last track, Black Diamond. Written by Paul and sung by Paul and Peter. Gene brought in the riff, even though he wasn't credited. The song is apparently about a prostitute. The song starts off with a 12-string acoustic with only Paul singing the first verse. And then the song kicks in and then Peter takes over for the rest of the song. The song slows down for Ace's solo, one of his best I think. And then the song ends as they gradually slow down the tape to almost a standstill. I like the song, but I hate the way it ends this album. As a matter of fact, I usually stop the song or hit skip just as the tape begins to slow down. I give this song a 7 on my scale. Overall, this is a good album. It has some really good songs with very few stinkers, but it's not their best album. Based on my scoring scale, I give this album overall a 6. And what I said earlier about rearranging the tracks, if I could reorganize the track listing, I would change it to this. I would start with Track 1, Deuce. Track 2, Strutter. Track 3, Firehouse. Track 4, Cold Gin. Track 5, Let Me Know. Flip the album. Track 6, Nothing to Lose. Track 7, Acrobat. The full version and not renamed Love Thing Kiss. Track 8, 100,000 Years. Track 9, Black Diamond. Eliminate Kissing Time. That's not needed since the full version of Acrobat is longer. Alright guys, there it is. That's my first review. Tell me what you think. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, leave comments. I want to hear your feedback. Be sure to like the video if you liked it. Share it if you want to share it. I'm going to be making more of these videos. Like I said, I'm going through the whole KISS catalog. I also want to hear if there's other bands you want me to review. I'm going to review all the KISS albums, but I know you aren't all KISS fans. If there's an album that you want me to review, make a suggestion down in the comments. I'll review it. Even if it ain't my cup of tea, I'll review it. I'll tell you if I like it, if I don't like it. I'm a KISS nerd, so that's what I call myself, and other KISS nerds, that's what we call ourselves. So if you want to hear something else, if you've watched the video to this point, then you've apparently enjoyed yourself. So be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave comments. I'm going to be doing a lot of fun and interesting things upcoming, so you definitely want to stick around for it. Again, I appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you next time.